I didn't call her or anything.
You can give her the money later.
I was hoping we'd have a musician with a music stand like I borrowed Stephen's that one time. Because typically I've got my notes because I got good stuff again and I don't want to forget it. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Is everybody clear about what an affirmation is? Since we're talking about affirmations, I'm getting mostly nods. Anything that we say repeatedly, positive, negative, all of it, if we are stating it repeatedly, it's an affirmation. And we have a lot of negative ones. We all do it. They're kind of habit. And I'm going to talk about affirmations in a little different way today than you might be used to. This one's going to be different. I've been doing this class on physical healing, and interestingly enough, last Tuesday night we were talking about affirmations. And it caused me to pick up Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life. Found out people didn't know about this book, didn't know what this book was. If you don't have this, you need a copy of it. If we don't have it in the bookstore, Angie will order them because I know he can. There's even a really pretty version that Betty's gotten that's full of pictures that's all updated and everything. But in this book are affirmations, and it caused me to do some thinking and change everything I was going to talk about today. You know how that is. Back to the drawing board. Luckily, I hadn't really written it. And Louise Hay talks about the feelings, and we've talked about this a lot. The feelings behind the affirmation are what create everything. Because what does feeling do? Feeling energizes. Whether it's a positive feeling or a negative feeling, it energizes. So, has anybody done affirmations that have worked? 2, 3, a few more. Okay, about half of you. Who's done affirmations that haven't worked? The same half and then a few more, right? Why do some affirmations work and others don't?
They all work.
They all work, yes. But some have a better result than we would like rather than others. Why is that? Well, we talked about this last Tuesday, and I think it's something I really want to share with all of you. Just like taking an aspirin. You got a headache and you take an aspirin. Are you taking care of the root of the problem or are you masking the symptom? What are you doing? You are masking the symptom. Thank you. Just so everybody knew, you're masking the symptom. You're not taking care of the problem. And unfortunately, a lot of our affirmations are masking symptoms. And I think we need to go a little bit deeper. So I made a list, and DL talking about fear in that song, and some of the things you said are exactly on target. Going to those root issues of what it is we really want. So I made a list. I went through, there's a whole batch of affirmations in here. And I made a list. It was interesting how many were repeated over and over again. The common themes were safety, love, that Betty talked about, security, survival, faith or trust, fear, personal power. This is a bad one, guys. Attachment. Attachment and self-worth. Those are the common themes. See, because we use affirmations to push or to manipulate and try to get things to go our way. Because it's much more fun when it goes our way, isn't it? But we're here as a spiritual being with a spiritual purpose, and that is our own personal growth. And if we're not dealing with those root things, all the other surface things are never going to change. You might use an affirmation, it might change one thing, and what happens? Something else pops up, doesn't it? Because we need to go deeper. We need to look at these core parts of our being. And where am I still needing to feel better? Because it all comes back to that feeling. If I feel safe, I don't have issues with safety. If I feel secure, they don't have issues with security. So we need to go to those root ideas. We need to cast aside the stuff and stand in truth and faith and trust of who we are. He's not here, so I can tell a story. Giuseppe, if you're watching, I'm not doing anything he didn't do publicly. He sat here a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you were here. He sat here a couple of weeks ago and talked about applying for a job and thinking he had it, and then finding out down the road that he didn't. But then he said, in the very end of that little short story, he said, but afterwards I went to Angie and I said, I really didn't want that job anyhow. How many of us do the same exact thing? We spend time, we spin our wheels, we go through motions thinking that we should do something, because I bet he felt like he should go apply for a job, even though he knew it wasn't a really good fit for him. How many of us do things we think we should that really aren't from the depths of our being, that aren't the truth of who we are? If our affirmations, if our energy is put into the things that we actually are, how much better is that for the world in general? Rick has a quote that's a Deepak Chopra quote. We were watching a documentary on Mike Myers and Deepak Chopra not too long ago. Well, it's been a couple of years now, hasn't it? And Deepak was talking to Mike Myers about some of the things that he has, and there was a sign in his office. Listen to this one. Chase the goddess of creativity, and the goddess of wealth will come and chase you. If we keep our life in integrity of who we are, what our gifts are, and we allow those to unfold, life's going to be a lot easier. Rather than pushing and fighting and manipulating to get something that isn't really who and what we are. Ah, yes. See, the truth is, you're already perfect.
Yes, thank you.
And so are you, Dan. You're already perfect. See, we lose sight of the fact that we are divine and perfect beings right here, right now. There's nothing we need to add. You know, the new pair of shoes is not going to change anything about you. Having the right car, living in the right place. We live in paradise. Sandy and I have mentioned this several times. People pay thousands of dollars to come here on vacation, and we live here. Wow. We live in paradise. We're already in the perfect place. Your being is absolutely divine and perfect as it is. You are a pure expression of love, because you can't be anything else. We get caught up in comparing our insides to somebody else's outsides. That's an old AA thing, but it's true, and we all do it. And it makes us think that we need to get something, have something, be something that isn't the truth of our being and doesn't really fill our soul. We need to take our affirmations to a place that will fill our soul.